Hi everybody. Just wanted to check in today and talk a little bit about antidepressant tablets. Um, First of all, just to state, is if you haven't already guessed, I am no doctor. This is just my opinion based on my own experience of being on antidepressants, and I thought it useful to share what I've learned from it. Simply because when I was on them, I really didn't know much about it. So I hope it's of use. So just to state, last year in particular, I was having some tough times with anxiety, and then I was put on some antidepressants. I was only on a small dose. It was paroxetine, and it's 20 milligrams once a day. What I want to talk about is, first of all, going on antidepressants. When you first go on antidepressants, it is worth stating that it takes, for me anyway, 10 days to about 2 weeks for your body to actually feel the benefit of them. And in the meanwhile, you do feel very nauseous. I felt very nauseous as well, and I got some headaches as well. I think there are side effects for some people, and it is in the leaflets that you get with the different antidepressants. But it was still kind of a little bit, it's not very nice. So if you are going on them, and I want to just state as well, I've nothing against antidepressants. If they are what I call a crutch for people. They are helpful when needed. Obviously, having them for long term is a different conversation, but it's a crutch that you may need, and I wouldn't be ashamed of going on them if that's what you need right now. The people have been on them for many, 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 many years, but there's nothing wrong with that. So going on them, there is going to be some side effects for most people. There certainly was for me. And the key with it is to keep taking them as your doctor prescribes, and to stick with them. It does take about 2 weeks or so, depending on your chemical biology, DNA, I don't know. But it takes a while for it to get into your system properly, in your body, in your mind, your nervous system, to get used to the antidepressants. Whilst on them, I took them in the morning after food. As I was only on 20 milligrams, so it's not like I was on a heavy dose really. It was paroxetine. I know there are various different types, but I think they're all from the same family, so they're over much of a muchness. I think it depends on how your body reacts. But yeah, they did help me initially, especially when I was in a bad state. They did lift me a little bit, so I've nothing against them. What I do want to talk about a little bit more, which is something that I wasn't on the leaflet, and I didn't get any advice from my GP about this until afterwards, was coming off antidepressants. So as I record this today, I am on a quarter dose of the 20 milligrams of the paroxetine. Now, when I spoke to the doctor and I was saying I'm going to try and come off them, they were fine. What I did, stupidly, was stop taking them completely. So I went from 20 milligrams once a day to none. And it was terrible for me. I actually got worse. I actually felt more depressed, and my head was fuzzy, should we say. I had this fuzzy, weird, headachy. It's hard to explain what it felt like, but it was really uncomfortable. It was like my head was just buzzing a little bit. And I felt really depressed, more depressed than before I was on the antidepressants. I spoke to my GP, and the GP said, "Oh, you've come off them too quickly. Your body has had all this build up to going on the antidepressants, getting used to having it in your system, feeling nauseous at first, and then to suddenly stop it, your body's suddenly crying out for this chemical that it's so now been used to having, and then you stop it, it kind of like, where is this thing?" And it didn't help at all. So rather than being up here, down, and then you're depressed, and then the antidepressants slowly bring you up, what you need to do is slowly come back down off them again, rather than just going and dropping. And what happens is you drop further down. So you don't want to be like this. You want to slowly come off them. I'm not fully off them as I speak, but I want to. As I said, I've nothing against people who are on them. I just feel like, for me, I don't need them as much, and having such a micro dose of it is, for me, just trying to come off. So I was on one, as I said, 20 milligrams. I then split that in half, and I had half a day for about 2-3 weeks, and then I cut that, so I split it off, and I chopped it into quarters, and then I'm on a quarter for about, again 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm probably going to make a decision next week to go on a quarter every other day. And then I'll slowly go off a quarter every 2 days, once a week, and then naught. The GP, when I went back and with my issues, the GP said, your body will just suddenly cry out for them and want it, even a few months down the line. So it's worth stating that actually coming off antidepressants is actually in itself a task that you need to plan in and speak to your GP about. Make sure that you're aware that there are side effects in coming off antidepressants, just as there were side effects coming on antidepressants. If you want to take that course. So obviously, as I said, I am no doctor. I am just someone who has been on this journey and is still on this journey. I thought it useful to share what I went through. I would also like to state that other people have been on different versions of antidepressants and they didn't work. So if you're feeling really nauseous going on them, or they really make you really upset or more depressed, go back to your GP and state that. The GP going on them have nothing been short of absolutely amazing. I know there was an issue coming off them, but they've been nothing more than short of amazing in terms of actually advising me and encouraging me. And they're never, ever, ever going to shout at you if you get on antidepressants and you feel, oh my word, these are horrible, I can't hack them any longer. It's better to be safe than sorry. Coming off them, be very careful. Do some research. Some people have taken 6 months to come off them. I'm fully prepared for it to take 6 months for me to come off them as needs be as well. And I'm also fully prepared to be on them for a lot longer if I need to. There's no shame for me or stigma being on antidepressants. They're a crutch that I needed at the time. And they were really helpful for me, as were anti-anxiety tablets, which I can talk about in another video. So just be careful, be patient with yourself. Don't try and force yourself to be off them because there's a stigma. Don't try and think, well, I'm on antidepressants, I've been on them for a few days, nothing's worked. It will take time to get in your system, and it takes time for your system to release and to not rely on them as well. So I think the longer you're on them, probably the harder it is to come off them. Anyway, I thought that helpful just as an experience as a patient being on them, for me to share that with you. Hopefully one or two of you may find some comfort and some advice in that. As I said, phone your GP, make sure you're aware of what your doctor is advising you, but be aware from my experience, it's not straightforward of going on them and then coming off them. It will take time, and you need to be patient to yourself and give yourself a little bit of love and patience, because you can do it. And if you're on antidepressants and you're taking your time to come off them, don't worry, don't rush it. Stay on them as long as you need to be on them. And I hope that helps. As always, if you do like this video, it'd really be helpful if you liked, shared it, and subscribed. And let me know in the comments if what you think of it, any experiences you want to share to anybody else. I'm sure it's always welcome. As always, have a good day, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.